recapping the Week 0 Mountain West football games. College football is back, so we're back on the Big Mountain to recap the Week 0 Mountain West football games. Hey, JY back here with the Big Mountain. Let's talk about the 3 Week 0 Mountain West games, starting with the most surprising game, UNLV versus Idaho State. Idaho State here has the most yards in this game, 555 versus UNLV's 532, over 1,000 yards of offense here in this game. We had 4 turnovers for Idaho State, 1 turnover for UNLV. Idaho State here had 21 rushes for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. And my goodness, this UNLV defense has to learn from this game and take steps forward going into next week's game versus Sam Houston State. Of course, that's down in Texas. I will be doing a preview of that game here later on in this week, but I'm going to give you just my overall feelings. I saw the first half of this. I did not see most of the second half. Things that stood out to me here, Calandria looked great. I thought he did a wonderful job in this offense. I loved his throwing ability, his running ability. Of course, the preview I did with Tony Cordasco, he mentioned how impressive Calandria's running game was and running ability was. My goodness, we saw that in this game. He has the speed. Really impressed with this player, and I really would like to see him, of course, be that number 1 guy. Have some packages for Orgy, but no doubt in my mind, Calandria is the man to take this team forward into this season. He finished 15 of 21, 195 passing yards and 1 touchdown. He also had 13 rushes for 93 yards. Jet Thomas, holy cow, that boy's got the Jets. 10 rushes, 147 yards, broke open some huge ones there in the first half. Finished with 3 touchdowns. Underwhelming was Glover and Lee for me, especially Lee. So we'll see how they use these guys moving forward. It's good to have a stacked running back room. Jet Thomas there, the speed of that guy will kill defenses here in the Mountain West moving forward. Bradley was the top receiver there. He had 6 receptions for 131 yards. Really the biggest play early on there, driving the field great. Orgy going for that touchdown, fumbles at the 1 or less than 1 yard line, fumbles it into the end zone. Idaho State picks it up and they get the early 10-0 lead because of that. Of course, you saw Coach Dan Mullen talk to Orgy coming off of that field. That obviously cannot happen. And I don't know if that limited his touches. Of course, we saw Calandria with several of the offensive series after that. Was that because of the fumble? Was that planned? I'm not sure. But the leading tacklers here for the Rebels were Pope and Brown. And as I said, this defense has to tighten up a lot of their game moving into week number 1, their week number 2. Let's get to Fresno State versus Kansas. Not a surprise here for me at all. Of course, I picked Kansas at minus 12.5. They easily cover that. Offensive total yards, we've got Kansas at 383, Fresno State at 216. Fresno did have 3 turnovers in this game versus Kansas not having any. Warner here finished 18 of 29 for 179 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then Donaldson there was the top back in terms of gaining yards. He rushed 11 times for 34 yards, 3.1 rushes per carry. Gilliam did have a rushing touchdown, the only touchdown for the Bulldogs. Then Daniels there, and the reason why I picked the Jayhawks in this game was because of Daniels. He's a stud. I mean, he looked great last year. He's got another year under him. He's going to be a lot for any defense to handle. He finishes 18 of 20, 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. I did not get to see this game. I do have it recorded. I'm going to watch it back. But really, when I looked at the stats, when I saw some comments and read some recaps, really the game that I kind of expected. Again, I'm going to watch it just so I can get a better feel of where the Bulldogs were there. But not too much of a surprise, but I would not freak out if I'm a Bulldogs fan. That Kansas team has a lot of offense. So we'll see how things go here moving forward for the Bulldogs, but I would not be too concerned yet in terms of where they're at this season. Then, of course, the Week 0 primetime game of the week that I was most excited for, Hawaii versus Stanford. Of course, I picked Hawaii -2.5. They cover with a walk-off field goal. My goodness, this passing game, as I said, is going to be a thing of beauty. Ashlock, 9 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. Harris, 6 receptions, 59 yards and a touchdown. The man of the game, quarterback, Alejado, he finishes 27 of 39 for 210 yards. That's a 69% completion rating. He had 2 touchdowns. He also added 10 rushes for 36 yards. Remember, he got injured to start the second half. I really think this Hawaii team would have taken it to the Stanford Cardinals there in the second half, but he gets hobbled with an ankle injury that really limited a little bit of their offense, but Stanford's offense struggled. Gobranson, he didn't have anybody downfield. What you could see online, they didn't look like anybody was open downfield, and he had no trust in his receiving core, would dump things off, and props to the Hawaii defense. They got to him, made him uncomfortable when they brought that blitz. He was throwing the ball into the dirt almost every time. This game absolutely could have been much more than a 3-point differential. Early on, you have that fumble. First of all, a crazy fair catch at the 1-yard line, which I'm not sure why you would ever do that, but he did it. Then they fumble into the end zone, or in the end zone, and that's where the Cardinals get a touchdown there. But my goodness, other than that item, and really just Alejado there being a bit hobbled in the second half, this could have easily been like a 31-10 game, in my opinion. Like, it really wasn't as close as that walk-off field goal. The right team won the game. They covered the spread. So, hey, beggars can't be choosers. But well done, Hawaii. As everyone knows, I have them with a pretty darn good record this year, and I like them in conference as well. So that's Week 0. Of course, we're going to pick Week 1. Wednesday night, we have tons of games to pick, tons of out-of-conference. Steve will do all the Big Ten. He told me he has 20 games that he's going to pick. So clearly he's picking some out-of-conference games. 20 games. I'll be picking all the Mountain West. May have a few others that I sprinkle in there. It's going to be a great time Wednesday night for our live episode. Also doing 2 game previews. Just recorded one for Utah State and UTEP. That'll come out tomorrow on Tuesday. And then I'm also doing one for the UNLV versus Sam Houston game. That'll come out either Wednesday or Thursday. So we have everything ready for you here on the Big Mountain with Mountain West Football. Make sure you like this episode. Subscribe if you like our content. We have tons of content coming up in the next 4 months with Mountain West, Big Ten football, and college football picks. We thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.